Welcome back to East Coast Blue Jays. I'm your host, Patrick McGraw. Thank you all for coming in on this episode. I like to talk about what exactly happened in yesterday's game. Toronto went up against the Baltimore Orioles in Camden Yards, April 12th, Saturday. But let's break it down. So before we get things going, thank you all for coming in. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. It's greatly appreciated. It's definitely helping us here out. So for no further ado, let's get this going. Well, as you all know, the Toronto Blue Jays fell to Baltimore of a score of 5-4 yesterday in Camden Yards. Despite an early 3-0 lead by the Blue Jays, we could hold off mid-game surge by the Orioles. Well, the Toronto's offense started strong with a back-to-back doubles from Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the first inning. So far, so good. Anthony Santander, facing his old former teammate, added a solo home run in the third, marking his first homer as a Toronto Blue Jays. Bichette led the team with 3 hits and 2 RBIs for the game. Blue Jays starter Bowden Francis was perfect through 4 innings, but struggled in the 5th and 6th innings, surrendering 5 runs, including 2 home runs. And as Cedric Mullins delivered the go-ahead 2-run double, aided by a defensive miscue by the Toronto Blue Jays. Baltimore's bullpen held Toronto to 1 run over 5 final innings, with Felix Bautista securing the save by striking out Bichette with runners on second and third. The Orioles defense turned 5 double plays, stiffening multiple Blue Jays rallies. So the game was for the taking for the Toronto Blue Jays. I thought for sure we had this game in the bag. We were ahead 3-0, and then we had a man on first, a man on second, and Tony Taters hit another one. And I thought for sure that was going to be going over the right field fence. But the right fielder made a great catch out in right field, but the Orioles and both players advanced. So after the catch was made out in right field, both players advanced, like I was saying. What happened was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was involved in a notable base running miscue in the 5th inning. After a flyout went out in right field, Guerrero Jr. attempted to tag up from first base to second. However, he was ruled to have left the base early, resulting in a double play that ended the inning and halted a potential scoring opportunity for the Blue Jays. Despite this error, Guerrero Jr. had a productive game offensively, recording 2 hits, including an RBI double in the first inning that gave Toronto Blue Jays the early lead. But, you know, for somebody that's getting paid $500 million, he should not be making these mistakes. I think the Blue Jays got into 5 double plays yesterday. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. made a base running miscue. He shouldn't be doing that. But that was the flick of the switch. That's what changed the game right there in the 5th inning. We were ahead 3-0. There was a man on first, man on second. Anthony Santander drove a friggin' ball out in right field. I thought for sure it was going to be a 3-run homer, but it wasn't. It turned out getting catched. Both players advanced. Well, we thought they both advanced, but Vladdy decided to leave the base too early, and it resulted in the 2 outs. And the next player that came up couldn't bring Bichette into scoring to make it 4-0. Just another bad miscue error. But the player of the game was, I'll give it to Bo Bichette. He delivered an impressive performance for the Toronto Blue Jays yesterday despite the 5-4 disappointing loss against the Orioles. Batting leadoff, he went 3-for-5 with a double, RBI, and a run scored, raising his season batting average to .313. In the first inning, Bichette set the tone with a leadoff double and later scored on a Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s RBI double. He had an RBI single in the second inning, driving in Nathan Lukes to extend Toronto's lead to 2-0. In the 7th inning, Bichette grounded into a double play, but it allowed Lukes to score, narrowing the deficit to 5-4. Despite his strong offensive showing, Bichette was involved in one of the team's 5 double plays, which hindered Toronto's scoring opportunity. Oh yes, Bo Bichette had a great game. Bowden Francis also had a great game. He went scoreless and hitless until the 5th inning, and everything just fell apart on him. It always seems he seems to get hit by somebody getting a home run. Remember last year, he had 2 perfect no-hitters going into the 9th. They were both home runs that messed it up. And then same as yesterday, he was going into the 5th inning. Same thing. 2-run shot, homer. But yes, we lost 5-4 yesterday. Francis took the loss. Baker took the win. And Felix Bautista got himself another save for the Orioles. But today, the Toronto Blue Jays will be playing against the Orioles again at 2:35 Atlantic time. Hopefully, there'll be a better outcome today. But as far as yesterday, it was very disappointing game. We should have had that in the bag. I think the Orioles only had like 3 or 4. They didn't have that many hits. The Jays had like 11 hits. The Orioles had like 6 hits. So I'll give it to Oriole. They know how to hit a home run to take the lead. But as far as the Blue Jays, they had one though. Tony Tater's got himself a homer, and I'm glad he did. Hopefully the big bats will show up. Vladdy's still without a homer. Bo Bichette's still without a homer. But today's a new day. Great day. But thank you all for coming in. Let me know how you feel about the performance of the Blue Jays yesterday. It was very difficult to watch at the end there. But when I finished watching it, and I always still cheer on my Blue Jays. But let me know how you feel down below. Leave a little comment before. But thank you all for liking, for subscribing. Thank you all for coming in. And I'm Pat McGraw from East Coast Blue Jays. You have yourself a great day. Have a great day, guys.